So I thought we'd talk a little bit about file sizes in ZBrush and how we can reduce the amount or the file sizes that we store on our hard drives as they start to get a little bit unwieldy. Here you can see I have a character with a lot of different subtools in it. And when I save this file, he's saving as 740 megabytes, which is quite large. That's quite large, but would be a lot larger had I not already gone to preferences and under undo history chosen to turn off enable saving and to turn on skip loading. So if you turn off enable saving, that will stop you saving any undo history. So as long as you're happy with not having the undo history, that you're just going to have to resculpt something that you don't have, well then this is a huge saving in file size. If I had kept this on, this file would be in the gigabytes. If you do turn this off though, you will have to go to config and you'll have to hit store config in order for ZBrush to remember this the next time you start it up. So that's going to be your biggest file saving right there. The next one is that you may have other multiple subtools in your tool list here. So for example, I have the whole guy here as a merged into one object. You may have transpose versions of them in here. You may have other little subtools, lots of little things in here. And this tends to get quite large the bigger your scene is. So the easiest way to clear all that out is to delete it. Now you could go to each one individually, select it, hit delete or hit delete all, go to the next one, delete, and go through them that way. But that can be quite tedious when you've got dozens of these. So there is a guy called Florian Jonas, a really nice guy who has put up some scripts online which are really handy, and I highly recommend that you go and grab yourself a copy. So I'll put a link in the description where you can download them. But basically if you go to Z plugin, after you've installed it, you'll have this FJ tools. In here he has a manage subtools, roll up, and underneath here he has the option to delete other tools. So just clicking this will basically tell you that you're going to delete any subtool that isn't the currently selected one. So we can just hit proceed on that, and that will clear out those extra subtools. So if we save this again, and I'll just go up to version 13, you can see that version 13 was half the size, or slightly less than half the size of the original one here. So just by reducing those other subtools, that's a significant saving that you get. So the next thing to look after is morph targets and layers. So for example, if we go down here to morph target, I'm going to select this guy by alt tapping on him. And if I store a morph target, but do nothing else, just store a morph target on this, and I hit save, I'm going to call this 13 morph. You'll see that morph target actually added 22 megabytes of data, almost 23 megabytes of data. So nothing else, just adding a morph target that isn't even used. If we then go even further and we say, well, we have a layer on this, I'm just going to create a layer. I'm not going to do a single thing to this. I'm literally creating a layer and then leaving it empty. If I hit save again, and this time I'll call it morph layer, you can see that the file size has now gone up by another 26 megabytes straight off the bat. So even an empty layer will cause an awful lot of file bloat. So we've gone up from 336 to 384, but effectively 50 megabytes just by having one empty morph target and one empty layer. So those things are really important to get rid of. There is an easy way to do that. ZBrush comes with a tool called the clean tool utility, and in here you can choose to delete the currently selected morph target or delete all morph targets. So you can delete them all, and it will run through all of the subtools now and delete any morph targets that it finds which you no longer need. The other thing you can do is you can choose to bake your layers or to delete your layers. Obviously the safest is to bake them because what you're seeing on screen is generally what you want to keep. So again, this will bake a single layer or delete a single layer. This will bake all of them or delete all of them. So I'm just going to bake all of them. And lastly, if this was going out to a 3D print, we could delete UVs as well. So for example, this isn't particularly suitable for 3D print, but if that was the case, if you needed to reduce file sizes for that, you could delete UVs as well, which would reduce all of that and also clear any masks. So I'm just going to save this again now that we have deleted all the morph targets and the layers, just to see if it makes any difference in our file size. and you can see we've gone down to 309 megabytes. So we've saved 75 megabytes just by deleting the morph targets and the file sizes. From original, it's still 27 megabytes smaller than original, so we must have had some morph targets or some layers buried in there somewhere that I wasn't even necessarily aware of. So this guy is now down to 309 megabytes and 700 kilobytes. The easiest way to actually reduce anything is just to save the single tool. So this is these are all of the subtools contained within the currently selected tool. So if we hit save as on the tool menu, we're just going to be saving this tool and not any others that you may have. We're not going to be saving anything that's project related, such as the document background or cameras. All that's going to do is save this tool. So if we hit save as on this, and we save this as a bull guy, just as a subtool, you can see that that's 308, so that's about 1 megabyte smaller than the project file of the same size. So that's basically how to reduce your file sizes: delete layers, delete morph targets, delete other tools, save as ETL, don't save your undo history. All these little things together will add up to drastically reduced file sizes. It used to be the case that you could go to your subtools and say all low and save that, and you get a different file size to all high. You still do, but it's probably about a megabyte in the difference, and in my test, all high has actually proven to be slightly smaller than all low. So that used to be the inverse, but you know, these things can be hard to predict. So yeah, I really hope this has helped someone reduce their file size a little bit, because yeah, unwieldy files can be quite difficult to manage and be a bit of a pain. So let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions for reducing file sizes that might help people out, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right.